Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is David Young and I am a computer science student at Concordia University, Chicago. And this is part one of my new series, DNS Basics. Today we're going to be talking about an introduction to the domain name system, which is commonly known as DNS. We're going to be talking about what DNS is and why it's so important for the function of the internet. Please, if you're enjoying today's video, don't forget to like and subscribe so you can continue to see my computer science content as it comes out. And let's get right away into the content. So in today's course, we're going to be covering a very basic overview of the domain name system, what it is and what it does. In our next video, we're going to be talking about the structure and the hierarchy of DNS, how it's implemented, and what the software requirements of that implementation are. Then we'll move on to DNS caching and performance. And finally, we'll talk about security. How do we keep DNS safe so everyone can continue to use it? So what is the domain name system? What is DNS? Well, when we're communicating with computers, we need a way to address them. We need a way to figure out where they are within the internet. And so computers do that using numbers. This is an IP address. It's where the computer is located as far as the internet is concerned. And so an example of an IP address is 10.222.1.12. And that's going to refer to a computer that's connected to the internet. Humans, on the other hand, prefer to use names to refer to things. Just like my name is David, we use names to refer to web servers like www.cuchicago.edu. And so we need to figure out a way to get from this name for a web server that we can remember to the number that the computer is going to use to identify and communicate with that server via the internet. And so DNS is how we're going to do that. DNS, the domain name system, is the way in which computers are able to translate the human readable names like www.cuchicago.edu into IP addresses that they can then use to transmit and receive data. And so for this reason, DNS is referred to as the phone book of the internet. Just like a phone book, you don't need to know the number that's associated with the person you're trying to contact. If I'm trying to call my friend Susie and I have a phone book, I can just look up her name in the phone book and get her phone number without having to memorize a phone number. And that's going to be a lot more manageable for me as a human being. And similarly, DNS enables you to memorize the name of a website like www.cuchicago.edu or www.amazon.com instead of having to remember that sequence of numbers. So let's formally define DNS. DNS is a distributed hierarchical database of servers and the accompanying application layer protocol used to translate between names of internet servers and their IP addresses. And so you'll remember that the internet is both infrastructure and protocols, and DNS has both of those elements because it's so central to how the internet works. So some services that DNS offers are host name to IP address translation, and that's the ultimate purpose of DNS, to get you from the name of a website that you're looking for to the IP address for the server that's hosting that website. They also provide host name aliasing, so we can refer to a website by multiple different names. For example, servereast.backup2.ibm.com might be what's considered the real name that corresponds to the IP address. But we can also refer to that same server as www.ibm.com. It's an alias for the canonical or real name of the server, servereast.backup2.ibm.com. There's also mail server aliasing, which functions similarly for mail servers. And there's also load distribution. DNS is going to, instead of centralizing itself and sending all requests to one gigantic server for these translations, it's going to distribute the workload across multiple servers to ensure reliable and efficient data recovery and transfer. So you might be wondering how DNS is going to perform this name to address translation that it's designed to. What's going to happen is that the client is going to generate a query. That's what we call when you're looking for a name to address translation or vice versa. And it's going to generate that query according to the DNS protocol. We're going to dive into that more in part 2. And then queries are going to start at the top of the hierarchy at the root DNS server, and they're going to go down through the hierarchy to more and more specific DNS servers that are going to point them in the right direction until they finally reach the authoritative DNS server, which is going to be the DNS server that contains the name to address translation that they've requested. We're going to cover both the infrastructure and the protocol more in part 2. But right now you need to understand that DNS is implemented hierarchically, and queries are going to start at the top and be directed to more and more specific servers until they finally reach their destination. So why does DNS matter? Why is it so important? Why do we even implement it? Well, it's because the internet is a human phenomenon. We've already talked about how names are going to be more usable for human users than numbers. And DNS provides a way that the internet can be accessible to the everyday person, and thus it's absolutely crucial for the functioning of the internet. Thank you for watching. In our next video in this series, we're going to cover the structure and hierarchy of DNS. Please comment any questions that you have, and I will do my best to reply. And don't forget to like and subscribe to stay up to date with my computer science content. Thank you.